So you have J.J. Watt and the Houston Texans flirting again. Remember they did this last year where J.J. Watt was like in spikes working out. It's weird that he's working out in spikes in the weight room, by the way. Like, what a weird thing to do.
What did he? I don't remember he
was in spikes. He was in spikes. Yeah, he was in spikes.
I remember that we had a discussion or two about this.
No, he was in spikes.
But I never remembered him wearing spikes. That is very weird.
I'm pretty sure he was in white spikes. But yeah, I remember last year he was like working out with the Texans for a few days. There was a picture of him and like the strength coach in the gym. And then he said later, yeah, he's been working out. And he was saying on McAfee, like he was hitting with McAfee all year that, you know, hey, I'm not completely closing the book, like giving in the window, you know.
And the bigger thing was good to be back in H-Town around the organization.
What a
and the
beautiful
team.
day in Houston.
Yep.
Like he was giving all these hints, and then you even had Nick Caserio respond, and then you also had D'Amico Ryans last year respond, being like, well, he's a great football player anytime he's ready. This was last year. This was last year in the second half of the season. Now you have J.J. Watt going to, they had it at Constellation Field, didn't they? His
sure did.
Charity softball game. So you had him, and you saw all the soundbite came out. If he ever needs me, I'm just a call away. This is his last year. Blah, 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 blah. And then D'Amico Ryans today at the golf tournament. I hope Cal didn't say anything unnecessary. We know what Cal likes to do at golf tournaments. Likes to run his mouth a little bit too much.
I really like to get JJ back in the building.
But anyways, D'Amico talked, and he was like, yeah, you know, if, you know, I have his number if I ever need him. Can we stop with this silliness? Like, the fact that they went back and forth last year with, like, this innuendo and these rumors and all these hints, and now you're doing it again in the offseason, and you're firing everybody. Oh, can you imagine J.J. Watt playing one tech? No, not really. He's never really done it. Could you imagine J.J. Watt, Danico Autry, Donnell Hunter, and Will Anderson playing on the same team? Not really. I can't imagine that. If D'Amico Ryans didn't call J.J. Watt in the playoff race last year, when, remember, Will Anderson missed Week 15 and Week 16 with a high ankle sprain and then played the final two games basically at 50%. And then, of course, we remember John Grenard missing 2 games when he was nursing a grade 1 ankle sprain in Week 17 and Week 18. You also had Dylan Horton, who was away from the team. You know, we found out later it was cancer, and we wish him the best in recovery. But if he didn't call J.J. Watt in the thick of a playoff race last year, when Will Anderson missed 2 games, when John Grenard missed 2 games, they were both hobbling around as you reached the postseason, D'Amico Ryans is never calling J.J. Watt. Let's put the fan fiction to rest once and for all.
There's no room for him on the team regardless, but you're right. If it was going to happen, it already would have happened. We call it Aaron Rodgering, just like, you know, you do catfishing when some people gets catfished. Well, this is Aaron Rodgering. This is when you need the attention so badly, or you're wanting people to just keep hinting, keep asking, and keep coming at you for the clicks and everything else, that you just can't say no, and you like to stir the pot. It's annoying is what it is. And no one's going to put it to bed because, like you said, today they could have and they didn't. And it's like, you have a lot of pass rushers on this team now. You have above average pass rushers on this team now. Yeah, I know there's always going to be a relationship. Yeah, I know it's a great thing to have JJ in the building and all that stuff. But why are we doing this? And why are we doing it now? Because it's fine and it's all good. But at the same time, there's going to be a time when the attention needs to be on the guys that you brought in, along with the guys that are getting ready for the next year of their career, that we don't need to have this conversation.
No, King of Twitch says he's a media bad word. Hey, call me if you need me. I'm right here.
Rodgers.
Just saying. A little bit. Now, they're both on McAfee.
Is Rodgers going to be back?
Is there a correlation there on McAfee? I don't know.
Yeah, see, I don't know.
I bet he would be. McAfee kind of does what he wants over there.
Well,
I mean, McAfee got the other dude fired, and he's ripping ESPN bet on his show. McAfee does McAfee.
Well, the fact that I can't believe how often, how frequent. It used to be like every now and then they'd slip in a cuss word. Now they just don't care.
I think he'll be back on the show if I had to bet.
Okay.
Like, because McAfee kind of beats to his own drum, which I appreciate about McAfee.
But I also wonder who's paying it because of the fact that ESPN's getting tight in the purse strings.
I mean, McAfee's pretty, like, he was getting like millions from FanDuel before ESPN ever came around, though.
Right, but he took a pay cut to come to ESPN.
Yeah, but I'm saying he's not hurt for money. Like, he's got bad word money. You know what I mean? Like, you get to a point where you got FU money and you don't really care what people are telling you.
Yeah, like they do have money to spend. They went out and bought. I mean, every time they do a promotion, they whether it's just, you respond to this or that you saw this show clip, and we'll send this many people cash. And then they were buying season tickets to the Fever when Caitlin Clark came on the show and giving some away and keeping some of them and doing things. They have money, but Aaron Rodgers, I'm sure, is commanding a pretty penny because that was such a big deal that he did his exclusives and dropped his big bombs when he was on McAfee.
It wouldn't surprise me, though, if he doesn't get paid to do a hit on that show. Like, he loves the sound of his own voice, and like you said, he loves the attention, and he has a buddy that does the show every now and then with McAfee too. So I don't know. I don't know the logistics. Yeah, I don't know the logistics there. It wouldn't shock me if he did it for free. It wouldn't shock me if he was getting paid a pretty penny a hit. Like, I have no idea. A texter just sent me one half of PP on the mornings on Highway to Hell. He sent me the video of D'Amico. I saw this earlier. D'Amico said, "I need him, JJ now. Anytime Watt's ready to go, I'm ready to go." So basically, he's calling his Watt bluff. I don't know why they're hinting at this. I don't know why they're flirting with each other. Why are they doing this? He's never coming back. They're never getting back together again. That's
what I was referring to. I thought you had that's what you're referring to.
Well, I did refer to it. But the texter sent the video.
Yeah, there's no doubt after I heard the whole D'Amico comments today, like, why can't we just put it to bed? Just squash it once and for all. And even JJ saying, after this year, I'm not going to be able to do this anymore, so it's going to have to be this year. Just, again, adding more fuel to the fire. It's now or never. There's a chance. You say there's a chance. There's not. Stop doing it. You don't need him. And I don't think no matter how, even if, God forbid, you have injuries, I don't know that there's going to be a time in this entire season where you suddenly go, "Yep, I need JJ now."
I wouldn't hate having him on the team. Like, that's
he says he's working out. Like,
it's a different conversation because, like, I don't think this is going to happen. Like, I think it would have happened last year if this was going to happen. But if JJ Watt wanted to come play on a league minimum, would I put him on my 53-man roster? Yeah, absolutely, I would.
See, that's the key, because when McAfee mentioned it, McAfee said for $30 million, he's got to make this many millions of dollars. If he's coming back, he ain't getting a big deal.
That was a different thing, though. Like,
this was last week.
But he wasn't talking about coming back for the Texans and demanding $30 million.
No, not demanding it. He's like, you come back, let's get this thing done now. He'll play against the Colts at least once, that's for sure. You give him $30 million, make sure you take care of him.
Yeah, but Watt never said that. Like, Watt's not.
No, Watt didn't say it.
Right, but
McAfee said it.
Sure, but I don't know why that's relevant.
No,
we're talking about Watt playing on the team. McAfee's not demanding the salary.
Because for the minimum, if he's just coming back on the minimum deal, and if there's a need for him, fine. I just don't think that there's a need for him right now.
I'd take him on the team. I don't think there's a need for him either. And if the timing was ever going to be right, it was going to be last year. That said, if J.J. Watt wanted to come back on a veteran's minimum, let's bring it home, J.J. Watt. Come on.
I would argue there's a need for him. I think you could use a sub package interior pass rusher. I agree with you
that
he's
more luxury than necessity.
I don't think they're playing him inside.
I think they would in a pass rushing situation.
As an inside, in a sub package, they've already done it. They used to do that with him and Clowney all the time.
3rd and 11, he's playing inside, getting to the quarterback.
And that's kind of where I think that, because you're not going to come and ask him to play 90% of snaps.
No.
Or
Isn't that what Danielle Hunter was brought in to do?
Danielle Hunter's your edge guy.
He's an edge rusher.
I think they'll move Danielle Hunter inside.
They might a little, but not
rush.
really. They moved Will Anderson inside a little bit last year to get creative. But like Danico Autry is going to be an outside guy. He's going to be inside on.
I'm sorry, not Danielle Hunter. I meant Autry.
You meant Danielle Hunter.
They'll move Autry inside. I think that's one of the things that is preventing them from going to getting another defensive tackle.
I don't think so.
I think they like Settle and they like Foley, but at the same time, on pass rushing situations, they're going to put Autry inside.
It depends on how many linemen they have down. I think he's more of a 3-tech than a 1-tech, whereas Settle and Foley are more 1-techs. Now, you can get creative on 3rd and 11. You don't really need a 1-tech on 3rd and 11 because you're abandoning the running defense. You could absolutely have a spot for J.J. Watt. I mean, if this is legitimate, and it's not, like I'm putting less than 1% greater than 0% chance on this.
Okay, what are your odds again? Sorry.
Less than 1, greater than 0.
See, I would go higher than that, not massively.
Why didn't it happen last year?
Well, that's where I was going. So I would put it up around maybe 15%. And I would put it that high because to your specific point about why it didn't happen last year, I don't remember if this is a conversation on the show. Joe was, the producer back then. It wasn't me. But I remember hearing this conversation and just me and my buddies having the conversation as well. Like when Watt first started doing the media stuff at the start of the season, you could tell he wasn't in football shape. He was obviously still in great shape, but he had slimmed down a little bit. He didn't look like he could step on the field right away. He'd stepped away from it fully. Didn't have, I don't think, the same bulk that he had when he was playing. And I think it probably took him some time to build back up. And I think that's probably why it didn't happen last season, is he didn't feel like he was in the shape and had the muscle mass that he had during his playing time to be able to go on the field and do it.
Talking muscle mass.
Now he's had an offseason to get there.
I think Brian's right. I think that he lost so much weight last year that he wasn't, even if they needed him, I don't think he could have done it. But the fact that I saw the press conference and I saw the video, and then he mentioned the fact that he's working out like he did when he played for one more year, you can tell he's jacked up again.
Okay.
Especially the way
he's jacked up based on wearing a T-shirt in front of a softball game.
Sitting at the table and everything, you could notice.
You know who else looks jacked? D'Amico Ryans. He needs to come back, play middle linebacker for the Texans. They need a third linebacker.
Come on,
that's why I'm saying there's more than a 1%
from a 12.5 sack season.
It sounds like
ripped.
It's not out of the realm of possibilities, which is why I'd say I'd put it more like a 10%. But I think that there is more than a 1% chance, simply because whether it started out kidding or not, there's a reason he's trying to stay in football shape for one more year.
Well, think of how his Texans career ended with that.
He'd love to do.
Yeah, with that 4-12 monstrosity that the 2020 season was.
Come back already. If he loved
I just told you why. I think Brian's right. Last year, I don't think he was in football shape.
Fair. Why wouldn't he have signed a deal already?
Because he's making a whole bunch of money from TV, and right now they don't need him.
Where is he making money on TV right now?
They just got rid of Phil Simms and Boomer, and they elevated him to the NFL Today prehab. So he's getting a boatload of money.
You don't think that's a per-show basis and gets paid in football season? You think he's getting paid in May from CBS in the fall?
No, but I'm saying he just signed. I'm sure his deal just got elevated. He's going to make a substantial amount of money to do TV this year.
Sure, but I don't think he's getting paid in May. Well, if we're talking about if J.J. Watt really wants to play, why hasn't he done it yet? I don't think his contract with CBS is the reason to why. I think that's an independent contractor. He's getting paid on a per-show basis.
I don't think it's independent contractor at all.
Do you think he's getting paid on May 6th?
I think that not that he's getting paid on May 6th, but I don't think it's independent contractor.
Okay, well, that's irrelevant though.
But it is relevant.
No, it's not really, because if he's not getting paid in the summer, why is the contract with CBS a hang-up of not signing with an NFL team?
It's not that it's a hang-up, but if you walk away from it, it possibly could be hard to get it back, and so he's going to get whatever he's going to get, $6 to $10 million to do studio show for CBS. And you're talking about if he comes back to the Texans with the cap and everything else, what's he going to get to come back and play football again? I don't think that it's anything.
You don't think that contract's waiting for him, like it was waiting on Tom Brady. You don't think he has that written into his deal by an agent? Hey, we could step away from this and come back to it after we come out of retirement and play. I don't think the contract's a hang-up.
I don't think that's a clause written in the contract.
It was in Brady's.
Brady's different. Brady's walking away and saying
I think it was in Romo's too, actually. I think it was in Romo's.
I never heard that.
Yeah, I don't think that the TV contract is a hang-up of him signing with an NFL team. And if he really wanted to do this, I think he would have already been on the roster. I think he would have been on the team. I think it's like this little temptation, slight flirtation, just like it was at the end of last year.
Couldn't you see an older player, though, only wanted to play half a season, though?
Sure. Why did he do it last year?
We just okay. You cannot believe us, but there was talk during the first part of the season that JJ's really slimmed down.
Yeah, I remember him being slim.
That's the reason. That's why he didn't do it last year. I don't think so. He needed time to build back up, and I think I'm not saying he's going to play again. I put the odds at 15%. That's not a majority, but I don't think even if he did come back, even if the 15% hits, he's not coming back to play 17 games. I think he's Roger Clemensing this and coming back in late October. He's not a guy you can ask to play 90% of the snaps. He's not a guy you can ask to play 16 games. He's going to come back, ramp up when the playoff push gets here, and then be here in the postseason.
I like that theory. That's a good theory.
That's what I said. Whether you could see it or not, that's up to you. Whatever you can see or not see, if he was bulkier in the press conferences and in a softball jersey. The fact is, you don't come out and say, I got back in football shape. I'm lifting like I was in football. I'm only doing this for one more year.
He literally said that in the second half of last year when he was working out with the Texans to McAfee.
Well, he didn't look it.
I think he ran out of time, though. That might have been the case. I mean, it's hard to say. Look, I either think he's telling the truth, and it's like a second half of the season playoff push type of thing, or he's Aaron Rodgers' media bad word again.
If he is,
there's really the answers.
If he were to come back, and again, greater than 0, less than 1, I believe your scenario. Like in my greater than 0 chance, I believe your scenario would be the way that he comes back. Doesn't do with camp, has nothing to do with all that. Maybe he does a couple of weeks on TV. He's part-time CBS. Maybe he does a couple of weeks there, then comes back in week 8. Trade deadline time, something like that. 863-8-yard tripping. I would die a happy man to see the man who I grew up with retire in a Texans jersey. I agree with that. Like I'm saying it's not going to happen. If he were to come back and join the Texans, would I be happy? Absolutely. I would love it. I would be here for it. I hope that it does happen.
Look,
now I don't think it's gonna, but I would love for it to happen.
Even the thing that we talk about when we talked about Caserio not being prepared with insurance policies in the past as it related to Kenyon Green and this team always needing depth. It's great having an ace in the hole waiting for you if you need it. With a guy that has that resume, with that amount of talent. If he says he's only going to do it for one more year and stay in football ready shape, so be it. But a lot of teams would kill to have a guy that has that resume waiting in the wings just in case.
Pessimistic Chad, let JJ and Miko have their fun. More annoying than them is you talking about it and calling it annoying. If it's BS and it is BS, why bring it up? Because it's a topipic in the city right now, and it's getting a reaction out of you, Pessimistic Chad. 2010, how many snaps could JJ Watt realistically play in a game? 10? 10 snaps?
I was going to say 15 to 20.
10 snaps. Now, 15, 20 probably. I think he could get up there if he was really needed and you had some injuries. But I think that in a perfect world, you're bringing J.J. Watt to play 10 snaps, pass rushing situations only.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 713-780-ESPN. Let's go out to the HRP listener line. David, you're in the Hive with the Bees. What's up, David? Hello, David. Yeah, you're up.
Yeah. Hey, I'm driving, guys. Maybe you can research this for me. But I think the reason he didn't come back last year, didn't he still have a year left on the Cardinals bill?
No, it was done.
Would have owed some kind of compensation?
No, his contract was done, if I remember correctly, with Arizona. He had a 2-year contract whenever he signed with Arizona. Last or 2 years ago was his second year with Arizona, so he was free.
Yeah, because I remember him walking off the field for the last time, and I believe he was in street clothes because he had already gotten hurt or whatever and said...
No, he played.
Did he finish the year?
Yeah, he played. Remember, that was against San Francisco, actually.
Oh, then he was mic'd up.
It was in San Fran.
But he, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe he announced his retirement before the season was over.
I think that's true, too.
I think he lit out his intentions. So, I don't remember exactly how long. But
I think it was like 4 weeks.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't a full season farewell tour like a Miguel Cabrera thing, but it was before the season was over.
Pretty sure that was the Arizona Cardinals in-season hard knock too.
I want to say he was some way or another he was mic'd up, or there was.
No, he was.
Yeah,
he was mic'd up. They were the in-season hard knocks, if memory serves, that year. So, they had behind-the-scene moments with J.J. Watt. I think Matt Burke was the guy when they were watching film where he was like, "Hey guys, give J.J. Watt all your love" or whatever. Because Burke came over, the DC from the Texans from Arizona. They were they were their hard knocks team. I think it was 4 weeks left, and I think he just randomly did it one day on Twitter, I believe.
Yeah, sounds right. Yeah, it sounds right.